or any sort of protective gear that you need to put on, please go put it on like I am going to, because I'm going to ask for Nick's reaction from this electric win. Here we go.
They're clearly and obviously the best team in football. And nobody seriously thinks otherwise, unless someone wants to come up here and make the case, I suppose, maybe for Philadelphia. But nobody actually thinks Philadelphia is better than Kansas City. They are certainly and clearly and unequivocally and inarguably the best team and the favorites in the big bad AFC. And certainly in their own division, the hardest division ever, the AFC West. And how do we know it? Oh, I don't know. They were playing the number one defense in football, a defense that had given up 27 points all year. Dak Prescott, plus a dark horse MVP, Jameis Winston, plus a four-time actual MVP. Aaron Rodgers played this defense, and in those 12 quarters combined, scored 27 points. And then a one-time MVP, Patrick Mahomes, a guy who is no longer the best quarterback in football. Ask the NFL players who rated him third best. No longer the best young quarterback. Ask the folks on NFL.com that said you'd start your franchise with Justin Herbert. Certainly no longer the best quarterback in the AFC. Ask, it's Josh Allen, with, arm being weighed down by all those championship rings, Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes in 4 quarters of football scored 41. In 2 quarters, scored 28. And I know you two are big hip-hop heads.
Oh.
And, I'm going to go deep in the archives, but I think you guys are probably familiar with a guy named Tupac Shakur, I think is the name. Yeah.
Correct.
What did he say? How do you want it? It was one of his favorite one of his famous songs. Yeah. Tell me how you want it. Okay. That's where the Chiefs' offense is now. Because you know what the Bucs said? Oh, we're going to make you run. And you know what the Chiefs did? Ran it right down their throat. And then they said, we're going to dare you to pass. And Mahomes made magic happen. And then, Brew, even when they had the perfect plan, Mahomes decided, we're going to change sports on you. I'm going to play a little basketball for a touchdown. So, yeah, that team with that quarterback and that coach and that championship pedigree, dare I say, is the best team in the NFL.
Pretty good.
All right. You deserve that.
I know.
You deserve it.
Also,
it's been a long month because they weren't the team of the month. All right.
They weren't team of the month.
Now, look, Kansas City
It's a new
was
month,
great.
October.
Patrick Mahomes was sensational. And you know how much I love Mahomes, almost
called
as
him
much
Jordan-esque.
as you. Yes, he was great. And if this week some people have them atop their power rankings or their tiers. I know somebody who will. Of
course.
I won't throw a hissy fit. It will be very justifiable. But Nick started off with this statement, Wildes. They are clearly, unequivocally, obviously the best team in the AFC. Yeah. And that's where I have to call your bluff.
Oh, you're going to Dolphins?
I got you. Nick. This is the same Chiefs. It's a season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's 17 weeks, not 1 week. And just 1 week ago, the hapless Indianapolis Colts beat them.
So who's better than them?
So how in the world? And let me continue because there's evidence. There's more evidence.
More evidence.
All right. Just 2 weeks ago, the Los Angeles Chargers, who are not as good as we all thought they'd be.
Why not?
Outplayed the Chiefs for the better part of 60 minutes before losing by 3 points.
You keep saying they outplayed.
All right?
I have no evidence of that.
And then yesterday, a Tom Brady-led Buccaneers team was averaging 17 points a game entering that contest, put up 31.
Did they feel like 31?
So the defense, it felt like 31 to me.
The game was in question, you felt?
That's where the weakness is, the defense. All right, this defense is giving up 24 points a game. You know who's not giving up 24 points a game?
The Cowboys.
Any other team in the league with a winning record.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So the defense is pretty good.
Need to have. I agree with Brew. Wildes, I agree with you, Brew. In order, because the defense right now has been, I would argue, slightly above average, but call it average.
Buffalo's got a great defense.
Yeah, but their offense isn't that good.
And Buffalo's got an offense that can score with the Chiefs.
That can score almost as many points as the Chiefs did yesterday in its last 2 games combined.
Well, hold up. Baltimore went in and destroyed the defending Super Bowl champions. I would say even worse than you guys destroyed Tampa Bay. Baltimore,
You're saying Baltimore.
Buffalo, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Buffalo beat Baltimore yesterday, proving what one thing you thought was a weakness. Can they win close games?
Yeah.
They're the only team this year that has made Lamar Jackson look human, and dare I say, only mediocre
and
yesterday.
For the record, their offense is the only one this year that was not able to take advantage of the Ravens secondary. Flacco went for 300. Mac Jones went for 300. Tua became a Hall of Famer based on playing that Ravens secondary. But the Bills, because I knew this would come back to the Bills, Wildes. So
Of
this
course
is what,
you knew,
of course it
'cause
would.
that's the
So can we
team.
show the fancy little EPA graphic that my friends in the nerd
this.
community make?
This would be a good
So the
graphic.
Y-axis is defense, the X-axis is offense. We'll show it to you.
Oh,
See
good
that
graphic.
team on the very, very far right? That's the Chiefs. What that means is slightly below average defense, the best offense by a mile. Look up at the top. You see the Bills?
Buffalo, yeah.
Yeah.
can't.
So here's my
And the
issue,
Eagles,
Wildes.
right?
Wow.
The Bills and the Eagles. Amazing defenses and okay above average
Okay?
offenses.
small.
Above average.
Yeah, above
graphic.
average offenses. Sorry, Wildes. We don't
graphic.
create those graphics. We took that from our friends in the analytics community on Twitter. Of course, the Bills' defense has been carrying them. The Bills' defense won them the game yesterday. The Bills' offense, except for when they were playing the Tennessee Titans, has looked okay.
They put up 31 against the defending
Yeah.
Aaron Donald,
Yeah, they
Jalen
that game-
But
Ramsey.
I'm letting go
No,
of that.
those guys-
I'm letting go of
Really?
this one. I'm just
No,
it's getting
listen,
further
that game,
and further in the
it
rearview
counts.
mirror.
Wildes, no, it does
counts,
count.
but-
And listen, we all know that turnovers don't matter in the NFL. They never determine games or anything. And if you remove turnovers, Bills' offense would be pretty good. But they turn the ball over a lot. Quarterback turns the ball over a lot. And their defense has carried them. So if the argument is the Bills' defense is so good it makes them the best team in football, maybe I'd listen to it. But that's not what anybody's argument is. The argument with the Bills is always Josh Allen and that offense.
No, that
which
wasn't
has
my
been,
argument.
But it has been mostly an idea rather than into actualization so far.
I hate to agree with Nick, but he's right. The Chiefs are now the #1 team in the NFL. I think it's hard to argue. The other narrative that we had coming into this game was the passing of the torch between Mahomes and Brady. Watching that game, Nick, did you feel like there was a torch pass from the GOAT to not the baby GOAT, but maybe we'll just call him Patrick Mahomes?
No, but I'm going to soft launch a take here.
Oh, good.
I got a little bit of a feeling watching that game like Romo got 2 years ago when the Chiefs beat the Bucs and he said,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I think we might see this again. And everyone was like, what is he talking about?
That's what you're going to
The Bucs were, not playing well at that point in time, and he said might see it in the Super Bowl. I look around the landscape of the NFC, and your Super Bowl pick is just a terrible, awful
great.
team.
Not going great.
The Cardinals. Brew's Super Bowl pick, the Packers, we'll talk about later. They're not looking great. My Super Bowl pick lost its starting quarterback. So the Niners, I have less faith in them. And when I saw Tampa yesterday, because I actually do believe and agree with, I know everyone today is going to start to say, maybe the Bucs defense isn't that good. No, the Bucs defense is as good as we knew it was. The Chiefs are just an unstoppable force offensively. I think the Bucs defense is going to be consistently excellent, and I think the offense will get better as the year goes on. So I think the only real chance for a passing of the torch is if they play in the Super Bowl, and I think that is more possible now than ever before. But if I can get back to, because I think Brew will meet me halfway on something. Before the year, when everyone was worried about the Chiefs losing Tyreek Hill except for me, I said, yeah, I think Mahomes plus an excellent offensive line in and of itself is going to give you a minimum of a top 5 offense and maybe the very best offense in football. Yesterday, he's throwing to backup tight ends. He's throwing to running backs. He's making highlight plays. Kelsey obviously was excellent, had a big game. With the offensive line playing the way it did, and I don't want to have an offensive line discussion, I don't know how you're supposed to slow down this offense. Because if you play that little too-high safety shell, you know what they showed you yesterday? We run it for 180 yards on that Tampa defense. And if you come down, all of a sudden MVS is open down the field, and Hardman is open down the field. With Mahomes having solved the game the way he has, to where even broken plays turn into touchdowns, and he's not getting greedy, I don't know what would have to happen, short of an injury, for the Chiefs to not have far and away the best offense in football, which is why I don't think they have to have a top 5 defense. I just think they can't have the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Look, I'm with you in Kansas City's greatness, but I do think you're overreacting to one game. And it was a great game.
What about week 1?
What
They
about
scored
week
44.
3?
Yes,
when they got beat by the Indianapolis Colts, where was that offense then? We were sitting here talking about the run game's got to be better. Where's the number 1 wide receiver? Not Kelsey, but wide receiver. We were talking about that a week ago.
I agree. They are not the 07 Pats. They are not going to go undefeated and not have a bad week. But even in week 3 against the Colts, they lost that game because of special teams disasters and their best defensive player getting a sportsmanlike conduct penalty on the game-winning sack. Why
didn't the offense score more points?
Because
this offense that's unstoppable.
Because they were losing possessions due to special teams disasters. They missed a field goal. They faked a field goal. There was 13 points left on the board.
They had to go for field goal.
Yes, they're not going to score touchdowns every single play. They're not going to score touchdowns.
I'm just saying you were overreacting because you sounded like I don't know how anybody's going to stop them.
Yeah, I don't. I think.
Well, the Colts. Maybe they'll call the Colts and talk to them about it.
Maybe so, or maybe that was a one-off of the game. I think that we saw the best team in football last night. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.